Hello guys, welcome back to AWMFX. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, no matter where you are. Hopefully, you guys out there are doing great, all right, earning a lot of money from the market, and of course, take care of your health, all right. So, currently, there's a lot of negative about COVID 19. Just ignore that, focus on your trading, earn more money for yourself and your family. All right, so like I promised, today is the episode number 4. We'll talk about the QM. Actually, I have to introduce a bit about this QM. So I learned it from my mentor, all right, indirect mentor, but I do respect him. So his name is Cikgu Mansoor Sapari. So he's uh, of course, what he taught us is in our native language, that is a Malay. But I'm doing all this is because I want to, how should I say, I will introduce, spread the good kind of trading more to other people. That's why I translate and, of course, I add in a bit of my experience of trading into English. So, what is Quasimodo? All right. A lot of people know about QM. We talk about QM. What is Quasimodo? So Quasimodo is actually based on a cartoon character. All right. If any of you know about this one called Disney cartoon character, this is one of it. All right. So this character, what is the characteristic about this character is that if you look at it, it has a uneven shoulder. All right. So one shoulder is higher, of course, the other shoulder is lower. So this guy, his name is Quasimodo. All right. And of course, it's based on this fictional character, the Hunchback of Notre Dame by Victor Hugo, right? So it looks exactly like the pattern, right? This pattern that we are looking for in our trading. So if you look at it, we have two shoulder, all right? But one thing is that this important line over here, this important line, sometimes we name it as above and under. Why do I mean by that? All right, if you look at it properly, so let's assume that the price is moving higher, high, higher, low. All right, so this part over here is higher than before and also lower than the previous low. So that's why we call it this line as a above and under. And this pattern over here is we identify as a how should I say, is a movement by the big bank or the big traders. We are following how the big banks trading is. All right. If anyone will have missed out the explanation of supply and demand, you might watch back to my first episode. Then you understand. So what is the important is that when the price, this red line break this low over here, all right? So it's qualified as a Quasimodo uh, trading, right? And this line, all right, this line over here, this is what we call as a QML, Quasimodo level, all right? And of course, for the, how should I say, this is the sell kind of trading, sell kind of setup, and this is the buying kind of setup. And of course, it's a similar. It's just that actually you can flip the chart over and you can see your pattern. All right. And I'm going to introduce to you a few kind of QM. And of course, I'm going to show it on the chart. Then that will be the episode of now. Because I cannot pack everything to you guys. It might confuse some of you, especially those newbies about trading about Quasimodo. I'm going to introduce it a bit by a bit so that you guys can understand, can absorb all that, all the things I'm trying to convey to you. All right. So above, over, and under. Right. So there are many types of Quasimodo. Right. Of course, this is the basic one. This is what we call it as a quick retest. Okay. So what do I mean by quick retest? So quick retest is that the left shoulder over here. All right. We're talking about left shoulder. So when it creates this Quasimodo level, the right shoulder or the return, all right, is very, very, how should I say it? The length, the time of this return is almost the same to this left shoulder. So let's assume that we are talking about H1 chart, means that it's a 1 hour chart. It may took how should I say, it may took four candlestick to achieve this Quasimodo. So over here, it might achieve when it return here, the timeline is, let's assume, is around 6 to 7 to maybe 8. I can accept it. So this is what we call it as a quick retest. Means that the left shoulder and the right shoulder, the timing is almost 1 to 2 ratio, within 1 to 2 ratio. Then of course we have the late retest, right? Late retest is that when it creates a Quasimodo, it will make a lot of, we call it price action over here. All right, price action before the price really comes back to this level and goes down, right? So there is 3 type of price action that we talk about, which I'm gonna introduce you slowly by slowly. So of course we have the fake out, right? And we have the diamond and the compression, right? This type of setup, I'm gonna explain it further, right? Then of course we're talking about more about quick retest. The characteristic of quick retest is that less, alright. So if you look at here, what I mean is that when the shoulder, right, the shoulder of the left shoulder and the right shoulder is almost similar, right? This is, of course, this is for the sell setup and this is for the buy setup. So the criteria for the criteria for the quick retest is that the reversal pattern looks like head and shoulder. Right, so this is a shoulder, this is the head, and this is a shoulder. But the difference here is that there is a break over here. Sometimes a lot of people, or should I say, a lot of YouTuber will talk, or a lot of mentor, you talk about head and shoulder is supposed to be the same length. But here is that we have a break. This break is actually very important. Once there is a break, it's a type of confirmation. It's not very strong confirmation, but it's a type of confirmation that the price likely to go down. Then if we add on other confirmation, I'm gonna have one episode talking about confirmation only. If you add on those confirmation, and of course you backtest it, you have more confidence on how to trade. All right. So second criteria is that it's a small engulfing pattern. So what do I mean is that if for this quick retest, if you switch it to higher time frame, all right, if you switch to higher time frame, this might be a engulfing pattern. All right, it might be an engulfing pattern. Similarly for the buy setup. So the third criteria is that the both shoulder return time is almost the same. By the way, when I talk about almost the same, is that 1 to 2, within 1 to 2 ratio, means that let's assume that this, like what I explained earlier, let's assume that this is 4 candle, this is within 8 candle. It's almost there. And this is one of the best type of setup, right? And it's very, very frequent, right? So the next criteria is that it has a very small stop loss. I believe a lot of you, why you want to learn about this supply and demand and a lot learn about QML is because you want to have lower risk. Very small stop loss. That is where you can lower your risk. And of course, if you keep on practicing, you can do a sniper entry and you can reduce your risk even smaller. Okay. So the fifth criteria is that at big time frame there is a hidden quick retest. Yeah, you need to change to small time frame to identify MPL and DP. So I'm gonna introduce a bit about MPL and DP. MPL is what we stand for maximum pain level. All right, and DP is what we call as a decision point. So when of course I'm gonna share with you my experience when I first learned about the QML. I go through all the chapter I do not understand. But when I go back, when I finish everything and I go back, rewatch the videos or the syllabus, then I'll understand because it's all related. All right. So you guys, hopefully, you guys have patience with me. I'm gonna explain everything, and at the end of this mini series, I'm gonna have a conclusion for you. Then you understand the overall things. All right. So make sure you guys uh hit the bell button and then do subscribe and give me a like so that you can get the latest update. So the six criteria over here is that you have to look out for the bearish or the bullish engulfing or king pattern as decision point. So decision point is usually at this area. And it's the good news is that it's very, very obvious. Right? Of course, when I talk about obvious is that if you don't do backtest, you cannot see, you cannot understand. You will keep how to say doubting yourself. Should I enter or should not I enter this trade? But when I explain everything about the decision point, about the supply and demand, then you will understand where is the exact area you should be enter, and you can reduce your risk. Right? So the seven criteria is that usually, all right, Quasimodo quick is right shoulder of Quasimodo late. So what do I mean here is that usually this type of quick retest is how should I say, it's a smaller, maybe I'm going to explain here. Okay. All right. So bear with me. So let's assume we have something like this. All right. All right. So what do I mean is that this is a big Quasimodo. So quick retest usually happens over here. It happens over here. If you look at it, all right, you have confirmation of, if you switch to a higher time frame, you have confirmation of bearish engulfing. Then you have confirmation that this is a rejection of right shoulder, all right? And also you can do one thing is that you can reduce your risk. Instead of your risk, it might be something like this. You can reduce until something like this. So there is a lot of advantage of trading quick retest. So this is the first type of QM. All right. So let me introduce to you the next type of QM. Of course, the next one is after quick is the late retest. This is a bit complicated because you need to look up for a lot of price action. Right. So this is the sell setup and this is the buy setup. Right. So within this range over here, right, within the price after it creates a QML and before it returns, there is a lot of trap. All right, this is what we call as trap or price action. There is a fake out. It might be a fake out. It might be a diamond or it might be a compression. Right, I'm gonna explain it. These three type of trap later on, not today, but later on, so you can understand. So this thing is very, very important. Always look out for this trap. All right. So the criteria of late retest is that it's actually very, very complex because you have a lot of price action, and this price action is not that is you choose one. It might be a combination. Sometimes it might be fake out and compression. It might be diamond and fake out. All right. So you have to be aware of it. Then the second is that it has a very big stop loss. Usually it will do. It will have a very big stop loss. So what do you do is that you have to change it to smaller time frame to identify the maximum pain level and the decision point somewhere around here. You have to be precise. If you look at here, what we're doing is that we have a line drawing that is very, very simple, easy to understand. However, all right, in the real chart, there is nothing like this. Even if you switch it to line chart, there is nothing like this. This is a perfect textbook example. There is nothing like that. All right. So the third criteria is that it needs a lot of confirmation. There is a lot of confirmation. You can maybe switch to the higher time frame, like what I explained earlier. There's an engulfing pattern. Plus, if you switch to a lower time frame, there is a lot of price action or the trap. Then you know that the price is going to this area. Why does this thing happen? It's because of the Big Bang manipulation and their orders on hand. They need to manipulate the market so that they can uh, throw away. For us, I call it throw the orders away, right? Because I explained in the first chapter, forex trading is about zero sum game. They need to sell. They need to have people buying. So this is a trap. So the fourth criteria over here is that there is three types of return, right? As we explained, it's a fake out, diamond, and compression, right? Later on, I'm going to show you about the chart. Then you have a brief introduction about QM. Then, all right, we have the late, and then we have the quick retest. So this is another different type of QM. We talk about different kind of QM. We have the reversal. So what do I mean by reversal over here? So imagine that at the higher time frame or lower time frame, the price action keep going, breaking high, all right, or even low over here, right? Then it creates a QM, all right, it creates a QM. So this meaning that the whole structure is reversing from from bullish to bearish, similar from bearish to bullish. So the whole structure, the whole price action is reversing, right? So the character of this kind of reversal is that it has a higher reward because you catch it on the top if you're able to catch it, all right? But the risk is definitely higher because you are catching from the reversal, all right? So the second character is that always check for trap in high time frame. Always go for a trap. There is a possibility this reversal might be a part of a diamond setup, right? Diamond setup, I'm going to explain it other times. It might be a part of diamond setup, all right? So the third character is that it's a high possibility to miss out on trade if use pending order. So a lot of people will ask me, should I use pending order, all right? Or should I use direct order, direct trade? It depends on you. If you have confidence, like me, sometimes I do miss out on this kind of trade. But however, when I saw this kind of trade and it has come down, I mean it has fall, I know where I should be going in. Then I'm going to direct trade, right? But all right, there is always a but. When you direct trade, your risk is definitely higher. Your stop loss is definitely higher because you're gonna place your stop loss above the decision point. That is always higher risk, right? So this is the character of reversal. Why I'm gonna introduce all this kind of QM is because some people, uh, emotion, I mean, able to control emotion is different. Some people able to control emotion, they might look for this kind of reversal because it's high reward. It's definitely very high reward. All right. Some people they do not have the control of emotion. I'm going to introduce to you this one. QM continuous, Quasimodo continuous. So what do I mean? Quasimodo continuous. Let's assume that the overall price is breaking the low. All right, breaking the low means that the overall price is bearish. Then price do not go in a linear way. It will have a pullback. This is what we call as a pullback. So within the pullback, there is a QM. All right, there is a QM. So this is continuous, means that the price likely to continue going down, but just that as a pullback. All right, as a pullback, and of course, this is something it looks like for buy setup. Important is that it has to break the low so that in future, or should I say usually it's a quick retest, the price will come back and then go down. For this is come back and then go up. So the character for this continuous QM is that it has a reward, all right, it has reward, but not as high as a reversal. But it's the safest because the overall trend is going down, and then you have confirmation of engulfing, so it is the safest. All right, it means that your risk will reduce. And the second is that you always check for confirmation on higher time frame, like what I told you. Always check for confirmation, and I'm going to introduce you about confirmation when I done with all this kind of setup. All right. So the third character is that it's very high. It's very low risk kind of trade. It's very low risk. First is that you already know identified where is your KML, and usually the stop loss is very small. All right. So that's it for the introduction of this QML and other kind of setup. I'm gonna go into the chart and show you more about it. All right, so now we are at a chart, and I'm gonna introduce to you. This is a type of reversal trade. All right, this is a reversal, and this is what we call as a quick retest. All right, quick retest is a combination. So what we are looking at is a GBP AUD over here. So if you look at the chart, the daily chart, while we're talking about daily chart over here, the price is keep going up. This is a bullish kind of trend, right? Keep breaking the high point. So what happened is that at this area, right? You look at it. It's very easy to understand. At this area, the price suddenly break down. All right, break down. And where is our QML? All right, our QML is over here. Another question I'm gonna answer is that should I place my QML over here at the top, at the tip, or at the body? My answer is that it does not matter. All right, it does not matter. Reason is that QML is not important. Other people will teach you about QML. You must enter at the QML. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. QML is just a name that the price is going to reverse. All right, going to reverse. So very obvious, this is what we call as a QML, and of course, I already practiced a lot of times. I usually gonna label my QML. I'm gonna label so that I identify this is QML, Quasimodo level. You can see the price suddenly break, right? Suddenly break. So where is the initiative? All right, the initiative move that breaks the low over here. All right, where's the initiative? There is two possibility, of course. The first possibility is over here. All right, I'm going to change the other color so that you guys can identify it easier. So the first possibility is definitely over here. All right, the second definitely that is over here. Sorry for that. So if you look at this QM, this is a character of a quick, right? The range between this shoulder to the head is 21 days, and from 31 days. You see it's within 1 to 2 ratio. So this is a quick retest, right? And of course, explained earlier, how do you identify where should you enter? All right, is that based on the break? On my chapter, I forget. I think it's a chapter episode number 4. I mentioned about one thing is that always sell at the supply zone and always buy at the demand zone. And of course, I do explain is that always look out for the supply and demand zone that breaks the SSR, significant support resistance. So how do I trade usually is that I always place a horizontal line, and I'm gonna drag my horizontal line. So this is my first area, right? So I'm gonna place it over here. Anywhere is okay within the box. Second one, I'm gonna place it over here. All right, so somewhere around here. Right. So I'm gonna make the color different, so it's easier to understand. Red color. This one I'm gonna change it to blue color. All right. So first of all, we look at the higher part. All right. If you go back, there is not much of price action over here. Really not much. There is a few rejection. All right. There is a few reaction. this is more significant, but the rest is actually not much, right? It's not much. But however, if you look at the second one, all right, this one, within this area itself, right? We're talking about this area. You can see that there is a lot of price action, right? There is a lot of rejection. There is a lot of rejection. So it's a very obvious this is a QML. All right. Sorry, this is a MPL, maximum pain level. All right. And of course, you need to find your decision point, and this is where the price will come back and then break. Over here, you can see the explanation. The example is that the price may protrude a bit. It depends on how you're going to trade. But overall, the reward is very, very, very high, right? Let's assume that this is why I say that the reversal has a higher chance of reward. Right? So assume that it's 1 to 11, almost 12. Right? If you're able to catch small time frame or reduce to small time frame, you can catch even higher risk and reward. So this is a character of a quick retest and of course reversal. Right? It's a very obvious one. Right, next I'm gonna show you what is a QML trend continuous and of course combination with late retest. Right, QML late retest. So very simple. If you look at the trend of this gold USD right here, right, the overall trend is going breaking lower, high, lower, low. It's breaking low again and again. Right, then suddenly there is a retracement. Right, if you can see it clearly over here, there is a retracement before it continues to break another low. All right, so it's very simple that it has broke the low, the break, it has broke the structure over here, and it has created a QML at this area. It's not really that I would say beautiful. It's not like the previous example, but nevertheless, this is where is our QML. All right, this is our QML. We have our structure over here, and of course, some of you might extend it to this area. It's okay. All right, it's okay. So what happened over here is that when the price tend to return, all right, it creates a lot of price action. So like what I've explained it earlier, the price action can be a single price action or a combination of price action. So what we have here is we have compression, right? We have compression and we have fake out, right? We have fake out. We have a lot of fake out over here. So fake out, it means that there is a fake hope, right? It's a fake hope giving to those traders who like to trade support and resistance, right? So the price came into this range before it comes down. Of course, there is a news just now. So if you look at it properly, it came into this area, this supply zone. I'm going to make it other color so that it's easier to understand. All right. So it came into this zone before it plunged down. So you can see that it gives you a quite awesome reward too, right? But there is a bit of risk that you need to go into small time frame to look at it. However, this is a 5-minute chart, so it depends on you whether you wanted to go into more deeper time frame or not. It's all up to you. All right. So like you can see over here, it have gone down 100 over pips, right? So it's irrelevant. Important is that you must know how to catch the QML. So this is a combination of a compression. You have combination of fake out, and this is of course a trend continuous. As you can see, the price go down, and now there is some spike up and spike down. Maybe it's due to the night news effect, right? just now there is a NFP, non-farm payroll. So this is a good example. That's all for the example for this episode. All right, so I hope that you guys enjoy the videos that I've done for you, and I'll pick up a few tips and tricks. So do give me a like and hit the thumbs up button, and give and also subscribe to the channel so that you guys won't miss out on the next episode. All right, so that's all for today. See you guys then. Bye.